Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. USCIS has recently published the inventory data for pending I-485 adjustment of status numbers for EB2 and EB3, also for EB1, for employment based category. So EB1, EB2 and EB3. And some of these numbers are astounding. And that is going to have an implication on how the dates are going to move forward in the next couple of months or even years. So we are going to take a closer look at this data and I'm going to give you my perspective on what this data means for you if you are in the queue for getting a green card in one of these categories. So very important topic guys, if you are in the green card process, watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration and lifestyle related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. Now it's no surprise that there is a long backlog for EB category, especially for India and China, especially for India, because it's too long. No other country compares even close, not even China. And month after month we make speculations on how dates are going to move forward. I try to portray an optimistic scenario for people in the backlog, but I also give you the pessimistic scenario. In this video it's still going to be both, but it won't be as rosy as in the previous videos. So what am I talking about? So USCIS published this data on May 14th. Saying pending applications for employment based preference categories as of February 22nd of 2024. So it's still 3 months back data, it's not up to date, but regardless these numbers are going to tell us a story regarding how the dates are going to move forward for EB2, EB3 category, also EB1. Now it's interesting to read their comments and I'm going to read it out to you because there are some hidden things that you are going to know from these comments. So what does this say? The inventory report is intended to provide information about the number of pending I-485 in the employment-based preference categories. The reports provides our estimates of how many I-485s we have in our inventory for each EB category by selected country of chargeability and by month and year and estimated priority date. Now they are saying the estimated number because in the sheet you will see a lot of places they have shown D instead of a number, and I will come to that what it means. But regardless, it creates ambiguity because USCIS upfront tells us that these are only the estimates. Next, a non-citizen with pending adjustment of status application can use the report to estimate how many 485 applications we have in our inventory with earlier priority dates for their employment based preference category and for country of chargeability. So basically if you are in the queue, if you have a priority date, you can look at this data and look at the number of applicants that have earlier priority date than yours so that you get an idea of how long it's going to take for your priority date to become current and eventually you getting the green card. So that is what this chart is supposed to tell us. The wait times for an employment-based immigrant visa depend on numerous factors, including but not limited to supply of visa, demand of the visa for a particular category, priority date, country to which the visa will be charged, the statutory limitations such as per country cap, and all of these factors will come into play. How these dates will move forward. Please note that this report does not contain information about the Department of State. Now, these numbers are only for USCIS, and USCIS processes the visas or green card applications for people who are within the United States. It doesn't show us the numbers that Department of State processes at the consulates. And that brings me to the sponsor of today's video. Have you ever done the Google search of your own name? Look what I have found when I did mine. Here's what comes up. While some of this information is relevant, the other makes me uncomfortable that my information is exposed for a sale like this. Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, or anybody else who may want to target you. Your full name, email address, home address, your relatives' names, health information, it's all out there. That's why I have been using Aura, sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out request for me.
Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use this information to help them access my social media accounts, bank accounts, or other sensitive information. Aura does so much more to protect my information and my family's information from online threats I can't see. I get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. It's really easy to set up, and best of all, I get everything for one affordable price. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like locking the front door but leaving your back door wide open. Aura is always on, doing the hard work of keeping me safe so I can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to my link which is on the screen and in the description and start your free 2 weeks trial. So protect your information, your family, and have a peace of mind. That's Aura.
Now they may not be exactly the same numbers, but they may be half of it or maybe even more. Who knows? They haven't published that data. So this data is conservative estimate. You can say you can easily multiply this data by 1.5 and that should be your figure. Anyways, let's keep reading. Now additional FAQs. Now you should definitely read these FAQs because these tell us the same story, how to read the report, how many employment based visas did USCIS process during the FY23 and how many they are projected to approve in the FY24. So there is a lot of data in the FAQs that you might want to read. It's just an update to whatever they had previously, so they just made an update to these FAQs, but our focus for this video is going back to the tables. Now regarding this disclaimer that they have put in, here are my couple of thoughts. The first one is they said that use this report to estimate how many people are ahead of you in your particular category for your particular country, right? So that is the premise behind it. But the reality of the situation is for the people who are current, say for instance, there is a bunch of people who are current with their priority date, they could be scattered throughout the United States. So say for instance, there is a candidate in Massachusetts where there are high number of cases processed against another candidate with the priority date current is in Arkansas or Iowa where there are lesser number of applicants who are current. Now, even if the priority dates are similar or close to each other, there is a chance that the person from Iowa who has the priority date after you may be processed sooner than you because you are in the Massachusetts. Because the field office in Massachusetts may have 300 cases versus the field officer in Iowa may just have like 50 cases. So that's why it may not be in the order of processing within the pool of applicants who are current or close in priority dates. So that is my first comment. Now again, a lot of people contacted me to provide my thoughts based on this data, but again USCIS goes on to say that it does not provide a complete picture of those in the queue of employment based immigration status. So they clearly put a disclaimer out that this data cannot provide you a definitive analysis of how long it's going to take for your green card. So take it for what it's worth. Now to be honest, in this year we have 161,000 visas available because there were some visa spillover from the FB category back in October. Also we have 10,000 visa numbers from EB category and that category is current, so there may be spillovers from that category. Now what are the things that are working against EB1 is that EB1 itself for India is backlogged. So no matter how many spillovers are coming, they are getting used up by EB1. They are not trickling over to EB2. Now EB2 and EB3 have another thing that is working against them, that their rest of the world category is also backlogged. So any hopes of spillovers from those categories mid-year around this time of the year, that's not happening. So that is again the headwind. Another point I want to consider, you might want to consider, is these spillovers numbers that we have been getting from the consulates back since pandemic are not going to be available in the future because since pandemic now these consulates are working overtime, giving out the visas. There are lesser and lesser number, and this year we might not even see any spillovers from the consulates from the FB category to EB category. So that is again a bad news. And then the rest is within the 140,000 applications that we have, only 28% go to each category, say EB1, EB2, EB3 for all countries, and each country gets only 7% out of them, which is close to around roughly 2,800 to 3,000 visas for India. So keep that in mind, and now let's look at the numbers. Here as you can see, here is the preference category on the left. Now this we are on the tab of EB1 India. Now here you can see the preference category. We are only going to look at EB1, which also by the way includes EB1 A, B and C. There is no subcategory within EB1, so EB1 is all one. So what they have done is they have given the numbers for all the people who are in the line who have applied for their 485 that are prior to the priority date of EB1A India. So what's the priority date for EB1 India? It's somewhere around 2022. So now they have given all the pending visa numbers for EB1 going back to 2013 and prior years. Now this prior years is everything before 2013. So how many numbers of visas are available right now? So let's just do a simple select over here and we'll see about 16,435. Now this is the pending applications, and out of those people, these many number of people, about 10,000 of them have the visa numbers available and they are just waiting for their green card to be processed, and rest of the 5,465 applications do not have their priority date current, and they will still have to wait until their priority date becomes current. So all in all, there are 16,000 applicants that are prior to you if you apply for your green card today. That's what it says. And by the way, this data is 3 months back. Now keep that in mind. Now let's look at EB2 and EB3 category. So this is the data for EB2 and EB3. So these are the rows for EB2 and then these are the rows for EB3, and we'll come to EB3 in a moment. But let's look at all this inventory data. Now they have done a trick here. They are going from 2014 and back. The reason they are going from 2014 and back is because dates have been current until end of 2014. Remember, back in pandemic 2021-2022, dates had progressed significantly and they had gone until December of 2014. So that's why they are taking those dates and prior dates. How many visa numbers, how many people are pending? Look at this, 35,507. where their date is current and they are waiting for their green card to be processed. So how many of them are there? They are about 1136. Now this D thing concerns me because what it tells me is that, let's look at what D is. D is disclosure standards not made. I don't know what that means, but it means that they are not able to tell how many people are actually in that category in that year that are available, that have their visa priority date available. Now how many are not available? These are almost 34,000. So let's say there are 36,000 people ahead of you if your priority date is 1st of January 2015 and beyond. Now let's look at EB3 category. Now EB3 has 19,481 people waiting for their priority date to be current, or some of them have their priority date current but they are waiting for their green card to be processed. Now if your priority date is 1st of January 2015 or beyond, you have these many people waiting in line before you or ahead of you. So that's what it means. Now let me give you a summary of what numbers that we looked at. So EB1A has 16,453 pending applications whose priority date is current or is not current and they are waiting for their green card to be processed. 16,000. Now EB2 category has 35,507, not including those mystery numbers which are indicated in D. So there may be even more than 36,000 for EB2 pending. And EB3 19,481, excluding those Ds that are unknown numbers. So that this number could be even more higher. Now here are a couple of my concerns. There is a lot of Ds in there in the available data whose dates are current. Now it means to me that their interviews may have been scheduled and they may have gotten their green card, so that's why they did not include those numbers, or they may have not got their green card, so they are excluding those numbers. Anyways, if they were to include those D numbers, these pending numbers would have been even higher. So that concerns me a little bit. The second thing is people may have applied in multiple categories. So this number may have a correction or margin of error where some applicants may have their petitions applied in EB1, EB2 and EB3, all three categories. I know of some situations that have done this. So those numbers might become less. So this is a good thing. The third thing is family members are included in this count. So remember, USCIS does not give visa number per family, they give visa number per person, and this is detrimental because if you have a family of five visa numbers are going to be utilized. So this 36,000 pending visa applicants for EB2 are all individuals including the family numbers included in this number. Now there are a lot of people who may have upgraded, abandoned their EB2, EB3 and upgraded to EB1 and gotten their green cards, or maybe pending on their green card. That is going to be working towards or working for you in the priority date forward movement. Now no spillover for EB2 and EB3 India. So EB2 and EB3 India has a priority date set, which means there are lesser visa numbers available for them than there are applications. So there is not going to be any mid-year spillover from these categories into EB2 and EB3. So that is not working for you. No spillovers from EB1. Why do I say that? Because EB1 itself is backlogged, and even though they are getting all the direct spillover numbers directly from rest of the world for which their category is current, and from FB and from EB1 and from EB5, still they are using up all those visa numbers and nothing is trickling down to EB2 and EB3. So that is bad for EB2 and EB3 but good for EB1. Now only expectation is there may be some spillovers in October, but this year I'm not so optimistic. When that data arrives, I'll be mentioning that in my future videos. And my biggest concern is those zombie petitioner who have gone back to India or who have gone back to Canada, UK, Mexico, wherever, and now their date has become current and they bring back the dates from the prior years going back to 2008, 2009, 2010. Even though those dates are far back from the past, these appear out of nowhere because they had returned, losing the hope of ever getting their green card, and now all of a sudden their dates are current. They come back to the United States and apply. Some even apply from abroad, finding an employer who can do that for them. So those are the things that are working against. Now in a nutshell, so 140,000 visa numbers available for EB category per country. Per category will receive 40,000, around 40,000 visa numbers per country. Because of the cap of 7%, they will get 2822. So 2822 visa numbers, 2822 visa numbers available per country. Let's round that figure up to 3000. Now what we are seeing in the pessimistic scenario, EB1 will remain retrogress for 2 to 3 years for the foreseeable future. This is because they are still getting the spillover numbers from rest of the world, family based category and EB5. Okay, that's my prediction for EB1 in the pessimistic scenario. Now what will happen to EB2? Now EB2, as you saw, 36,507 applications, 35,000, almost more than 35,000 applications are pending. And how many visa numbers are available every year? Only 3,000, because they are not getting any spillovers. So it is going to take around 10 to 11, 12 years to clear the backlog, to get the dates to even December of 2014 for EB2 India. Now what is the story for EB3? 19,400 applications pending prior to your date. Now 3,000 for EB3 as well per year. So let's say 6 to 7 years to clear the backlog, to move the dates forward to end of 2014. Now this is the worst case scenario, pessimistic scenario. What is the optimistic scenario? People keep dropping from the queue. Because of that, upgrading into different categories, going back to India, Canada and Mexico, wherever. So they are dropping the queue. Now this will work in favor, and I am saying EB2 may reach to end of 2014 in 5 to 7 years. EB3 will reach to in 3 to 4 years. We have no idea how many applications are pending in 2015 and onwards, whose I-40 is approved, but they are waiting to apply for their 485. No idea. My speculation is it's more than 250,000 petitions per year in EB category. Now take all of this with a grain of salt. Why do I say that? If magically 100,000 visa spillovers happen from the FB category to EB category in October, say, out of magic, then these dates will move forward a little bit faster. Or if Trump comes to power in November or in January, the same thing that might happen what he did 4 years back or 5 years back, and there will be more spillovers coming from FB to EB category. So those would be the conditions under which the EB category for India might move a little faster. But other than that, so unexpected spillovers from FB category, or if Trump comes into power. Other than that, the story is really grim. Now with that said, remember I have an EB1A masterclass I'm doing this Sunday, so sign up for it if you haven't already. I'll be doing more of them in the future months, but if you want to attend one on Sunday, do check out the link in my description and sign up for it, because I will go into the intricate details of every criteria for EB1A and also the real world evidences that are required to fulfill those requirements. So it will be greatly beneficial to you if you are contemplating applying in EB1A. Now check out my last video for students from India. Now if you are contemplating coming to the US to study, that's a great opportunity. But also if you are thinking about living here for a longer term or getting a green card, then do watch out my video. Don't be disappointed by that video, as I have just stated the reality. There is more to the life than a visa. You should enjoy your life with what you have. With that said, I'll stop here. If you like the content of this video, do hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.